Jrue, what was the experience like of playing with Kevin? Obviously, you've played against him for so many years.
Oh my gosh, he's unreal. He's unreal. He makes the game look so easy. Nothing phases him. How he plays. I mean, yes, he's 7 feet, but it's like he doesn't see anybody. It's just like him and the hoop. It's like cone drills. It's just if you're gonna just go work out and get into your bag and work on something, like that's his game, and nobody phases him. It's amazing. It's amazing to see.
We got into a discussion, Tommy and I did, without a guest on last week's mailbag episode, just sort of about who the best player in the world right now. And I sort of made the comment like, Kevin doesn't count, but you played with Giannis, the Finals MVP. I played with Luka this past year. Just played with Kevin. Who do you think is the best player in the NBA right now? And you don't say Giannis because he's your teammate. Say Giannis because you believe it.
Man, dude, I love Giannis. I do. Obviously, because he had a 50-point game and 2 40s in the final. Luka's tough. Luka is so good to me. Kevin Durant, though? Okay, you mean like all around?
Yes, just like the best player. The best player. Who's the best player in the NBA next year?
Dang, bro. I'm not sure I can answer that question.
Okay. That's fair.
It's probably a smart non-answer, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure I can answer. Because we're still leaving out somebody and maybe a couple of them in the Western Conference that are freaking insane.
We don't want to be disrespectful to anyone.
Jrue, I wanted to ask about we're going to talk about the Nets series, but I wanted to ask about Kevin with the shot in Game 7. What did you think? Did you think that you were done?
No, I saw his foot on the line. Like, I actually had no question that it was a 2. Yeah. I think everybody else was shocked that it wasn't a 3. But the angle that I was at, I was like, no, that big toe was on the line. That long big toe was on the line. So I was pretty confident in it. Now the second one, the one in overtime, that one I was nervous. The one I was guarding him. Because it was like when I turned to look, it was dead on. And I'm like, oh my God, like he did it again. But he ended up missing, thank God.
I also had the perfect angle from the stands on his shot. But I was like, why is it? I mean, I know he hit the shot, like, but I was like, there's a lot of people in this building right now that are celebrating like the Nets just walked off and won Game 7.
I thought it was just me. Me. I'm like,
that was the vibe I was getting from the stands. I want to be clear. I was in the stands. I was an observer. I was a fan at the game.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I thought the same thing. Like, did I miss something? But KD, bro, I'm telling you, I think now that I've played against KD in this series, and again, I played against him in Golden State, completely different. Like, he literally carried his team, and it was insane to be a part of.
One of the things that I noticed in that series from Game 1 to Game 7 is that offensively there was more matchup hunting on your guys' part. And there was a couple guys on the Nets where, you know, their minutes went down completely. And that's been a knock on Bud a little bit, I think, is just like there's a system, we're going to run our system. Whereas in that series there was a shift throughout that series where all of a sudden you're going to go at people if they're on the court.
Yeah. I would say from both sides. There are a couple players on our team where their minutes decreased. Bobby Portis, which in the Miami series, I mean, lit it up. Bryn Forbes, which in the Miami series, I mean, was on fire. And theirs limited because, I mean, Brooklyn was really, I feel like they were just trying to pick on him. And then the same thing for them. Like, Shamet played quite a bit, but his dropped. Who else? There were guys that were like, no, if he's on the court, go at him. Like, that's the matchup. That's the advantage. So that was kind of the first time I'd been in a series where it was matchup for matchup. Who are we going at?
What was the level of exhaustion by the OT of Game 7? Because watching it, I wasn't at the game, but watching it just on TV, it's like this is just literally a war of attrition.
After that game, I was like, I cannot wait for it all to be over. It was so like mentally, it was draining. Again, mentally it's draining because I feel like you do everything you can to stop somebody and it's not working. And Kevin Durant is pretty much just like, this is going to sound weird, mentally penetrating you. And like, he's not stopping. And then physically, oh my gosh, physically it is, I was hurting. Everybody was. Matter of fact, you can see KD Game 7. Like, you knew he was tired. You knew he was gassed. But man, both teams left it out there. That was after that series. I'm like, man, look, whatever happens after, like, we have to win now. We did too much and came too far.
We have T-shirts made from certain things that are said on the show, and that's got to be one of my favorite quotes from the entire podcast show. KD is mentally penetrating.